What's up, everybody? My name is Sid, and I've teamed up with the big homie Reg to bring y'all something new, something we like to call Beyond the Scoreboard. Y'all be sure to review, rate, and subscribe. Let's get to it.
Making these flips.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard, where every 25-point lead is safe. As always, I'm Sid. What's going on, Reg?
Hey, man, doing good today, baby. Feeling good, got off work early, ready to talk football like always.
Finally, we're here at the first week of the NFL season.
Who that?
No more off season, no more OTAs, no more training camp, preseason. It's time to get to the real thing, man.
Yes, sir.
So usually, of course, we start off with Saints talk, but since last week we stopped with going through the divisions and making our predictions there, we're going to pick up there before we talk about the Saints and talk about this week's games. So last week we went over the AFC North and the NFC South. I had Cleveland winning the AFC North. You went with Baltimore. NFC South, you went with Tampa Bay. I went with New Orleans. I think we both have Tampa Bay and New Orleans making the playoffs, though. Is that no?
I don't have New Orleans making. I don't think I took the Saints to make the playoffs.
Okay, so you just got Tampa Bay coming out the sole team coming out that division.
If I remember correctly.
And then I know I had Baltimore and Cleveland coming out of the AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and let's just rip through the rest of the AFC divisions.
Okay.
So let's go AFC South. Let's go AFC South, which of course features the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Tennessee Titans. What you looking at there in that division?
It's definitely not one of the stronger divisions in football. First glance, you can see the Colts. If they had a starting quarterback, you can kind of see them repeating themselves and protecting their quarterback, running the ball effectively, given that their running backs stay healthy the whole season. But now that that's not the case with Carson Wentz being out, we don't even know how well he would have played if he was the starter. I got Tennessee running away with that division. I think they won a division 2 years in a row now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think 2 years. And they didn't add anything on defense like we would have hoped that they would have. But they did bring in Julio Jones, and we all know what Julio is capable of. Now you can put Julio or what's the other Brown from Ole Miss? AJ Brown. You could put either one of them in the slot now. I mean, that just makes life so much harder for the teams that's already having to account for Derrick Henry. So I definitely got the Titans winning that division again.
I have the Titans winning the division as well. I'm not ready to give up on the Colts, though. I think that Carson Wentz being back with Frank Reich is something that has potential. I'm not saying it's going to automatically be a working thing, but the fact that you pair him back with the coach that he had the most success with, and you're putting him on a team that, once again, has been real successful as of late. We saw what that coach defense looked like last year. Jonathan Taylor came on strong. They get Marlon Mack back. The thing that worries me the most about them is the receiver talent. With T.Y. Hilton being out, they didn't really go out there and add anybody, so they're relying on Michael Pittman, Pascal, Paris Campbell, and guys like that. And at tight end, I want to assume that what's his name, Jack Doyle is still there. Is that who that tight end is? I don't even know who that tight end is. So that's what worries me. But I think that defense should still be as good as it was last year. And then from there, it's honestly about how much can you get out of Jonathan Taylor and that running game, and like you say, how good Carson Wentz is going to be for you. But I agree with you. Tennessee was already a team that you had to worry about because of how well they were playing on defense. But they've shaken up a lot in their secondary going into this season. But offensively, like you say, there's no offense that's matching them in that division. So I definitely agree with you. Tennessee's going to probably run away with that division. So AFC West, which is, of course, Kansas City's division. I'm quite sure I don't get no argument with you there that they're gonna be winning that division this year. The Chargers, to me, is the team to actually watch in that division this year, seeing what they were able to do last year with a change at quarterback abruptly with Tyrod Taylor going down and Justin Herbert coming in and filling in those shoes. The talent's there. We talked about this last year, especially their defense got beat up real bad too. Melvin Ingram went down, Bosa missed time, Darren James missed almost the whole year. I want to say
he missed his whole NFL career.
So when you have injuries like that to players who are so important in your defense, like that's your best players, all missing time, it's hard to get anything really going. So I think defensively, for sure, they're going to be better this year. And once again, when you talk about those young quarterbacks, the biggest you see is from their rookie year to their sophomore year. And I definitely think Justin Herbert is the best of that class last year. And I think he's going to be even better this year. So even though I think Kansas City takes this division, I think the Chargers are going to be right there behind them.
Chargers only because of their quarterback. Like if he played anything even near what he did last year in Justin Herbert, then yeah, they're going to be right back around that point, or if not better again this year. My team to watch in that division is the Las Vegas Raiders. So Josh Jacobs, right? He made me out of a believer. They added even more depth at the running back position. I want to see what Ruggs get going this year. We know what Waller is going to give you. Last year, at the end of the year, Las Vegas Raiders, their defense, they developed the pass rush for Crosby. So I'm expecting him to kind of be somewhat of a household name this year, his breakout year. That's what I'm expecting from the Raiders. So I think they're going to be right there underneath the Chiefs this year.
And the thing about Vegas, for me, is we talked about it a little bit last year. How
it sounds so funny saying Vegas.
How traditional of a team they are under John Gruden, and it seems like he's now coming out of that and he's starting to catch up with the NFL of today. Darren Waller, an absolute monster. I'm still worried about the other receivers outside of him.
Definitely.
I'm worried about Josh. I'm not worried about Josh Jacobs because I think Kenyon Drake is really going to be able to take a lot off his plate and offer up a lot for them. So it's really just about what can you get from those other receivers. Like they lost Nelson Aguilar. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you who their number one receiver is right now. Do you know? Because I don't know.
Well, far as I'm concerned, it needs to be Ruggs. He's the guy that needs to
Henry
be
Ruggs.
Yeah, he needs to be factored more into the offense going forward. Didn't see a lot of him from preseason, of course, but I would like to see him all over the field, kind of like what Kansas City uses Tyreek Hill. Not saying that they're in the same breath or he's anywhere near him. I'm just saying he's always the fastest guy on the field, and they got to find a way to get him more involved.
And the problem with guys like that for me is, like you say, you have that Tyreek Hill that you look at these players and be like, man, at the potential, like the potential gives him the ability to be a Tyreek Hill, but then in most cases they end up being John Ross, and that's the problem. Like, so when you look at guys like Hollywood Brown, there's another guy who you're looking at like just like Henry Ruggs and saying, bro, this is what you can be, or what I'm quite sure they're hoping you're going to be, but can we get that?
Well, a lot has to do with the coaching staff that they go into as well. You know, your OC and all that good stuff. And I'm not trying to be long-winded on this, but we spoke about Hollywood, right, going to the Ravens. The Ravens got a hired offensive coordinator to package specifically around Lamar Jackson and his style of quarterback play. Tyreek Hill went into Andy Reid, which is probably the best offensive strategist of all time. If not, he should be in everybody's top 5 or so. Two Super Bowl appearances in the last 3 years. He knew what he was drafted in Pat Mahomes. So, I mean, it's easier going into a situation like that than, a situation like Henry Ruggs with John Gruden or Hollywood in Baltimore.
Also, though, it is the player type as well, because Tyreek Hill he's such different from those other guys because of how he's been able to build out his body. Like I heard somebody say this the other day. He's a football player who can also run track, not a track star who also plays football. True. And John Ross and Hollywood Brown and Henry Ruggs, those seem more guys like those are track stars who, turned it into football. And Tyreek Hill is an actual football player who can also do track. And I think that plays a big difference in it too. Yeah,
definitely. He's a complete receiver. I've been saying it now for like the last 2 or 3 years. I hate that people just think he's good because he's that fast. True, that's his best ability, but he's a decent route runner who's getting better and better. And you always have to respect his speed. But just getting back to what I'm saying about, offensive coordinators, like Sean Payton, right? He's our head coach, been there for the last however many years, right? You look at a guy like Darren Henderson, who's a track star, right? Turned football player. The production we was able to get out of him for however many years he was in New Orleans. You got guys that are drafted in first rounds like Henry Ruggs, Bernard Pyramids, list goes on and on and on, who has yet to pan out in the NFL because of the situation they're drafted into.
Yeah. So it definitely goes hand in hand. It's usually, both sides of that taking effect that's slowing these guys down. So the last AFC division we have is the AFC East, which is going to be a really interesting division to me this year. Go ahead. What you got the AFC East looking like this year?
Give me 1 second. I try to be a little bit more prepared. I actually have notes. So this is going to be one of the tighter divisions for me as well. Right off bat, you want to go Buffalo winning the division. They won the division last year. Did they truly do anything to improve their team? With the addition of Emmanuel Sanders, can't really think of no one outside Emmanuel Sanders, who's still a pretty reliable receiver, especially for as much as Josh Allen threw the ball last year. But my thing, it will always come down to not if Buffalo can run the ball, but can their running backs be consistent enough of picking up 4 yards and then finding a true pass catching receiver out of the backfield for as running backs go. But if I had to give it away today, I would say Buffalo, simply because we saw them do it last year and they have the best quarterback in the division. Saying that, I don't think they just run away with it. I honestly, in my heart, I honestly believe Bill Belichick find a way to challenge them for the division. So I got New England coming in second, followed by Buffalo. Followed by the Dolphins, then the Jets.
Okay.
Miami is the team I have going backwards this year.
Okay. For me, Buffalo is the clear-cut favorite in this division. Mm-hmm. The best quarterback in the division by far.
Best receiver in the division.
The best receiver in the division.
I think so.
I don't actually think that they have the best defense in the division, but their defense is solid. Their defense is definitely solid. So I have them really running away with that division this year.
How many games you got them up?
I think they can fit. We'll be looking at 17 games. I always got to redo the math on this thing. I could easily see them finishing 13-4, and the team that finishes behind them be right at 10 wins, I would say. So that's a 3-game cushion I can see them having over anybody else in that division. Where it gets interesting for me is Miami and New England, because New England, we talk about this all the time about not only losing Tom Brady last year, but the COVID opt-outs they had and how that affected their team. then Cam Newton getting COVID and how that affected him.
I give them no excuses. When you have won as long as they have won, I give you no excuses. I hope Herm
that's fine. But my point is, those COVID opt-outs are now back. I don't think there was one player who didn't come back for them, especially the ones that actually mattered and were really up there.
Patrick Chung, I think he retired.
I think you know what?
Yeah, he set out for COVID and then he retired, I think.
Yeah. Everybody else returned. Which once again, the people that Dante Hightower, like those guys, those guys are back. And once again, man, we look at that Patriots team last year that finished 7-9. Mm-hmm. Despite those COVID opt-outs, despite Cam Newton having the effects of COVID and coming back from that and things of that nature, their receivers got better. Definitely. They went out and got 2 tight ends who are
way better.
Really solid tight ends. Yeah, they're way better.
And offensive line has looked very, very good in preseason. And that's after losing Dommy. So they have definitely looked better.
And they're back to a more traditional quarterback that which is what they're used to. Mm-hmm. You got James White back. You hope that Damian Harris can stay healthy. It's never a concern about the defense. The defense held up last year without some of those big names. So getting those big names back are going to be a plus. Gilmore won't start the season with them. He's on the PUP list. I don't think he plays for New England this year. I think as soon as he gets healthy, he gets shipped out.
I don't even think it's health. I think it's money. What they pay.
Yeah, he's going to get shipped out. Miami is such a talented team, man. They didn't have too much turnover roster wise. They brought back a lot of the guys that they had last year on their young team. Mm-hmm. It's Tua. Once again, we talk about that jump from rookie to sophomore year. I think Tua's going to experience it just like everybody else does. Adding Will Fuller to that offense, adding Jalen Waddle to that offense. I think those are going to be – I think they put Tua into a situation or into a position where he shouldn't fail. So if he fails – okay, you're not our quarterback. We know now that it's not anything else. It's just you aren't our quarterback. We got to move on. And I think that Tua actually succeeds this year with all of this talent that's around him. The run game is still questionable because you don't know exactly what you're going to get out of a Myles Gaskin or a Matt Breida or whoever, they really lean on. But I think Miami does enough to edge out the Patriots. So I do think Miami finishes second in that division, and I have them also making the playoffs.
Oh, wow. The Dolphins is one of those teams that reached the ceiling for me last year. If you look at the points that the defense scored, the turnovers that they caused, sometimes the lady luck is just on your side. And I think that's the kind of season that the Dolphins had last year. So them being more stable, they got an amazing head coach, take nothing away from him. But until your quarterback can show that he can push the ball down the field, and that's with all that speed around him, that he got one of the best check down tight ends in football. But he still have a pretty bad O-line. That O-line is not going to buy him no extra time. So he have to be getting rid of the ball quick. I just don't see it. I don't see the likelihood of them repeating themselves last year. New England's better. As we already spoke about, they got New England twice, they got Buffalo twice. I just don't see how they can put together a season and put together game plans where we're looking at Tua not turning the ball over. And he's in a situation where he's actually forced to win a couple games for them. And that's what I don't like about the Dolphins.
Yeah, so we see that completely different. I think that there's enough talent around him to where it's going to make life a whole lot easier for him. Plus being, of course, in the system a second year, just like everybody else, getting the opportunity to have OTA, the training camp, and all those offseason things like they didn't last year. Yeah. I think that's a huge plus for not just him, but for a lot of people, but especially for him who came in right off of that ankle, it was an ankle surgery or foot surgery, and being behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. If they was a little bit more proven, if Will Fuller was a little bit more proven, if Jalen Waller was a little bit more proven, if their run game was a little bit more proven, I feel a little bit better about it. Kind of like Ryan Tannehill turned his career around once he got to Tennessee. Oh, all I got to do is give it to Derrick Henry and pop people in the mouth with this play action. Cool, I can do that. I can,
Yeah.
So he had a proven commodity over there. Then AJ Brown, since day one, I told you how I felt about AJ Brown. Then you go get Julio. That's proven guys who you're counting on to say my quarterback doesn't have to win the game for me. Kind of like Jimmy G first year in San Francisco, already had a proven track record with Kyle Shanahan. He's going to put everybody in place to where that quarterback doesn't have to win the game necessarily. But until these guys do something, right, the guys we spoke about from Miami, I won't be able to believe in Tua.
Yeah, and you always take that approach. You gotta actually show me before I get around there to it. But sometimes you gotta foresee these things, Reg. I want to say they replaced their offensive coordinator, and once again, that defense is still going to be a good defense.
Oh yeah, defense. That's
like they go out there and have force those turnovers in the manner that they were last year. But that's still going to be a good defense.
Man, it was turning it over and taking it to the house last year.
All right, so let's jump to the NFC. Once again, we already did the NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
I took New Orleans. You took Tampa Bay. So let's go to the NFC North.
Okay.
Let's look at that Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit list right there.
Mm-hmm.
What you looking at? What you see?
Unless Aaron Rodgers decides not to play, I have the Packers winning that division. I have them winning that division comfortably. I just think Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. If you look at what he did last year, it was nothing less than masterful. He did all but win the Super Bowl. He was lights out to me. I don't know if he's going to play with that chip on his shoulder again like he did last year, but even if he is just regular old A-Rod, we talking 36 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, right? That's good enough to win that division, I feel. Chicago's still trying to figure some things out with their quarterback. We know Andy Dalton is going to be the starter. We're just not sure how long. That's a defensive unit that's pretty decent. They're pretty solid. Yeah. So I still think that they're going to be tough. The Vikings, I hate to say it, but I think that they're going to be the same old Vikings. Like Kirk Cousins put together some great statistical seasons that I think people don't even look at. I think it'll surprise a lot of football fans if you go look at Kirk Cousins' stats, right? 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, whatever, doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Delvin Cook is going to be one of the top leaders in rushing if he stays healthy. Got 2 good receivers on the outside. It's just that the offense is so bland. It's so bland. It's a run with Delvin Cook or it's something short across the middle unless, you got Jefferson burning the defense or something of that nature. But I don't think they have enough to beat Green Bay. I'm not even sure if they have enough to beat the Bears if the Bears get hot, right? But they're going to be a solid team. And I have the Lions being one of the worst teams in football this year. Sorry, Sean.
So let's start with the Lions because I agree with you. They will be the worst in this division. Mm-hmm. They are clearly in a rebuild. Taking that gamble with Jared Goff is worth it to me because from what you've seen Jared Goff so far at his height, he was able to help a team get to a Super Bowl, regardless of how you
What did they give up for Jared Goff again? What did they give up for Jared Goff?
Matthew Stafford went ahead and let him get out of there. Yeah.
I'm saying that was it. They got I know they got some
Stafford, they got 2 first rounds, I want to say. They got a first round for this upcoming year and the year after, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they got those first round picks. They have no wide receivers. The best option at receiver they have right now is St. Brown out of USC, and he's a rookie. Like, it's only so much you're gonna really go into the season having expectations for him. TJ Hawkinson is for sure.
He for real.
He's for real.
They got it right. They finally got it right at tight end.
Yeah, once you get past Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, George Kittle, you start looking at TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews type guys. Yeah, right. So he's right there for sure. Defensively, they have some guys, but they don't have a unit. They're not going to be able to keep people off the board, like talking about. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Minnesota, I've always been higher on Kirk Cousins than other people.
Always.
And just like you said, when you look at the stats, Kirk Cousins has put together some really good seasons in Minnesota. But I think the best of him we've seen now. So now I think sadly it's going to end up being a Dalvin Cook show. How far can Dalvin Cook take us? And that's just not enough to win in this league these days. Chicago, 100% agree with you. That defense is going to be there. But just like last year, I'm still worried about the offensive talent around Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, Nick Foles, whoever the quarterback going to be. Like, outside of Allen Robinson, I don't trust David Montgomery. I don't trust any other receiver. I don't trust any tight end.
Who they added at running back? Didn't they add someone at running back this year?
Well, they got David Montgomery, and if they did, I think of
Tariq Cohen. I think they signed someone else.
He hurt. He's still on IR.
I think they signed somebody else at running back. Yeah.
Yeah, but the talent around them offense, like Justin Fields is going to be their quarterback before the season ends. We both agree with that. That's 100% going to happen, whether it's game 4 or game 8. He's going to end up being the quarterback, and they're going to look a lot better because of his mobility and what he's able to do. But there's still not a lot of talent around him to be able to really be good. So I'm right there with you with Green Bay running away with this division. They're going to be missing their left tackle for at least 6 weeks because he went on the PUP list. But outside of that, you brought back everybody you needed to bring back. Aaron Jones, you got Aaron Rodgers back in the building, Devontae Adams on board. You brought back Randall Cobb, which is going to give Aaron Rodgers somebody he trusts. Like, I'm not expecting Randall Cobb to go out there and be amazing, but we were looking at that offense a lot of times last year, like, who the hell Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball to if Devontae Adams somehow don't get open?
Right.
and it led you down a lot of guys that just weren't reliable, but now you got Randall Cobb, and that's somebody that's going to absolutely be trusted. I think Robert Tonyan has earned a lot of trust at that tight end position with Aaron Rodgers.
Especially in the red zone. Yeah.
So I think that offense is going to thrive. That defense is still going to be solid, and they're going to run away with that division.
It was messing with me. I had to look online. Damon Williams from the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, he's over there.
So let's go NFC East. I want to save the West for last. So let's do the NFC East.
Tough division, bro.
Cowboy fans. Y'all go ahead, grab y'all popcorn, go to the bathroom for a minute. Y'all can come back in a few minutes, and I'll be done.
It's such a tough division, man. Like, all these teams across the board, I just see Super Bowl. Oh, man.
The Washington football team is the best team in this division to me, and it's not close. That defense that got put out there last year is coming back this year with another year under them. Chase Young, his sophomore season. I expect growth from Montez Sweat.
That dog said.
I expect Montez Sweat to take another leap. They have 3 great defensive tackles. When you look at Ioannidis, the guy from Alabama that they just drafted last year, Jonathan Allen, and then there's one more.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we're going to have to look that up. But they got De'Aaron Payne. De'Aaron Payne is who I'm thinking about. They got 3 great defensive tackles. Got better on offense. Got better at quarterback, even with it being Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's an upgrade at quarterback. Yep. You got Curtis Samuel on the opposite side of McLaurin now. Yep. Logan Thomas is a better tight end than most people give him credit for.
If he stay healthy, he's decent.
Yeah. Which is always a scary thing for Washington with tight ends because of dealing with Jordan Reed all those years. And then Antonio Gibson, who came on strong last year, and expecting him to have another good year running the football.
Very underrated.
If you're telling me that Ryan Fitzpatrick has 1,000-yard rusher, he has McLaurin, who's a 1,000-yard receiver. You have a trusted tight end in Logan Thomas, and you have a defense that's not going to give up too many points. Especially in that division, I got Washington like all day, every day. And honestly, I don't see another team getting close to the playoffs in that division.
Yeah, so before all the signings and free agency, when football stopped, right, I said the Giants should come back next year and say, this is our division to win. And then Washington just starts spending money. I thought I called them the Redskins. I was about to catch myself like I've been doing Vegas. But, Washington just starts spending money. And like you said, I'm a huge fan of who has the better quarterback. Like, I'm huge on that, right? And it's hard for me to say that Danny Dimes is better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry?
No, I was saying Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
So then, like you just spoke about Washington's defense from top to bottom, they're complete. Kyle Fuller being over there makes the world of a difference. Their unit they have speed, they have power. They can match pretty much any style of play in football. We didn't even speak on Chase Young. That's crazy. We just blew by him like he's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't even speak on him, but he's very serious. One of the better pass rushers already after one season of football. So basically, Ryan Fitzpatrick just don't go out here and lose the game. You don't have to.
Which he haven't done. You know, this last 7 years of Ryan Fitzpatrick has been a Ryan Fitzpatrick where, for the most part, has been real reliable. Yeah.
Well, the way Ryan Fitzpatrick started is always hot. Like the first 6 games or so of the year, he's always playing very well, low turnovers, and then the second half of the year is kind of like when the turnovers start creeping in, and he's making errant decisions and things of that nature. But I think that this unit is so explosive offensively and defensively, and the division is so weak. Maybe this is the year he puts it all together. So I'm taking Washington as well to win the division.
Let's just zoom through the rest of this division, just because Cowboy fans want to be talked about to some degree. Let's start. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak is back. I pray the man can stay healthy. If he can, he's going to have a top 7 quarterback year. If he can stay healthy, he's going to have a top 7 quarterback year. The talent around him is great. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke. We know what it is. If that offensive line can stay healthy, we're going to see big things from that offense. The defense is where it's still suspect.
Who they stopping, Sid?
The defense is still where it's still suspect. You paid DeMarcus Lawrence all that money. He gave you nothing last year. You brought in players like Keanu Neal, and I think Malik Hooker's back there. There's another guy that I can't. Michael Parsons, you drafted him. Great draft pick. He's going to do wonderful things. You still got Vanderich. You still got Jalen Smith. The linebackers are definitely, when they're healthy, they're definitely the strongest part of that team. It's just, what about the secondary? Or if DeMarcus Lawrence ain't getting off, what about the defensive line? And that's you got to be able to stop somebody. And I don't see Dallas stopping anybody, which in part is why if Dak stays healthy, he's going to be a top 7 quarterback, because he's going to have all the chances in the world to be like they were doing last year, coming back from being down, trying to win football games. Yep. The Philadelphia Eagles, can you say they got better from last year? I guess. If you want to say, look, they got Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, if you think he's a better quarterback than what Carson Wentz was healthy. Defensively, I can't think of one thing that they did that made me say, oh, that's what they needed. I think the Eagles are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year.
I agree. Better in football to me means when we sign a guy, draft a guy, whatever,
Yeah.
Did that move translate in us winning more games? And I think it's nothing that the Eagles done in the offseason that made me say they're going to win more games. So therefore, to me, the Eagles didn't get better. Once again, I agree. They're going to be one of the worst teams in football. I think it's so unfair to Jalen Hurts because it's so hard to evaluate him as a fan because the lack of they're around him. And that's what I was saying last year. Everybody's like, he's not a good thrower of football. He's not ready. He can't read defenses. Bro, who is he playing with?
Yeah.
I remember we went to Philly last year for the game, and the front of the paper had Jason Peters on there, and it was just talking all this bad stuff about like all the injuries and all this stuff he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Yet they were trying to still tell that man he could play left tackle before moving him to guard.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? So they can't protect him. He don't have a bailout. For as a guy that's just naturally gifted, a Tyreek Hill, a Julio Jones. He doesn't have that. They don't have a crazy run game. Miles Sanders, to me, is really not the answer at running back. Defense, no stability. So to me, they're definitely going to be fourth in this division.
And what's worse for Jalen Hurts is I don't think time is not of the essence when it comes to NFL teams and their ownership and their lead and their managers and stuff like that. When they look at stuff like that, and they're going to look at Jalen Hurts and they're going to say, "Look, you had a year and a half, you didn't get anything done. We're going to move on from you," and that's so unfair to him, like you say, because what did you put around me?
Yep.
The Giants, I think they finished second. In the division, I think they made some, like, they're definitely headed in the right direction. Part of that is just getting healthy. Saquon Barkley getting back, another year under Jason Garrett with Daniel Jones. You bring in Kenny Galladay,
John Ross.
They brought in John Ross. Okay, yeah, I didn't even know they had John Ross. Yeah,
I think John Ross is over there.
Yeah, I actually think that's true. I just forgot about that. Evan Ingram.
Yeah,
you gotta hope that Evan Ingram is going to be able to put on another good showing this season. Defensively, they're going to be solid. That Leonard Williams acquisition last year really paid off for them. Up there on that D line. So
they brought in the corner. Who did they bring in at the corner spot? Who did they bring in? Your boy from the Titans.
Adoree Jackson or
yes.
Did they bring in? Because where's Logan Ryan? Where did Logan Ryan go?
Adoree Jackson. Let me see.
Because I feel like they may have ended up on the same team. But yeah, I definitely feel like Philly is the Giants are definitely the second best team in their division.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they did bring in. They did. I'm sorry, they did. I was about to say, I know I ain't tripping yet.
Yeah, so they
brought in Jackson.
Okay. Yeah, so that was definitely an improvement for them at corner. They have a safety. Who's the safety they got back there? They definitely have a safety.
Logan Ryan had a great year last year too, and Jabril Peppers, of course. But Logan Ryan played great last year for him.
Jabril Peppers got to get better. But yeah, I definitely think they're the second best team in the division.
Yeah,
we agree on that. The last division here, which once again, this is going to be the toughest one in the NFC to foresee and to look out on, is the NFC West.
I think this been the toughest. I think this has been the toughest division in football, at least the last 3 years now.
Where you got the LA Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, this is a toss-up. So I have all faith in Kyle Shanahan. Let me just start by saying that, right? Like, he's one of those guys, if he's in the facility and he's coaching your team, I think you're going to do all right offensively, right?
Yeah.
San Francisco was another team that was hit by the injury bug real hard last year. And now they got everybody back. So you got to give them a puncher's chance to win the division. It's so tough to call because if the Rams would be fully healthy, they're missing their running back. What's your boy name from Cam Akers. They're missing Cam Akers, who was officially named the all-time start, the full-time starter late last season when he started picking up. But because of that, I'm going with the Rams. I'm gonna still go with the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford coming over is gonna make the world of a difference for a team that already have one of the better defenses in the NFL. You got Robert Woods, you got Cooper Kupp. They've been doing 2 tight ends. I know they lost one of them, I believe, Everett, if I'm not mistaken.
Everett went to Seattle. Yeah.
So Digby will still be serviceable. I know they're gonna probably have another type and step up and fill in that role. And I know they traded for Sony Michel. It's not like a huge household name who just put fear in people, right? Yeah. But I think that they can find some type of way to get some type of production out of him. And football is still the year is still young. If there's a trade out there, was they one of the teams that brought in Devontae Freeman and another running back? I forgot.
And,
I'm not sure.
Le'Veon Bell, I want to say.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell. I'm not sure.
That was Baltimore. Because they lost Field. Yeah.
So the year is still young, and they can still figure out that running back position. But having a better quarterback is going to make the world of a difference for the Rams, who still won that division last year with Jared Goff. So I have the Rams finishing first. Followed by the 49ers, given that they're going to be healthy. I think that their defense makes the difference out of Seattle, who has zero defense. Seattle is still going to win a bunch of games, but I think it's just hard. We know when they play the Rams, Jalen Ramsey takes whoever out of the game he wants to. They already couldn't run the ball. They do get Chris Carson's back. And they are a great offensive football team, but I just think that not having the defense is going to start catching up with them more and more as Russell Wilson gets into his latter part of his career. And that will put the Cardinals, who I feel is another team that's pretty good offensively. It's just that this division is so tough, and they're another team that's starting to put it together for signing players. If this JJ Watt, if JJ Watt and Chandler Jones work the way it should work, both guys getting double-digit sacks, they got a chance. But the likelihood of that mixed in with the fact the Cardinals still won't be able to run the ball, they still don't have a tight end. How effective can you be in that division? So I have them fourth. I'm sorry, I have them fourth.
We agree. We agree on the order of how you go finish out.
We agree.
The Rams, whatever you felt about the Rams with Jared Goff, when you looked at that team and saw how good they were with Jared, they're going to be a whole different team with Matthew Stafford. He's going to take them to a whole nother level. And which is good for the Rams, but it's also good for Matthew Stafford being able to get put into a position where he can actually show it wasn't me. Like I've been doing this, so let me show y'all how far I can take a team. But and you talked about what they got on offense with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee. I like Darren Henderson. I just don't like him as being your sole feature guy, which is why they went and got Sony Michel, which I feel the same about him. So you pair them together, and I think that's going to work for them. And then, of course, on the opposite side of that football, you're looking at Aaron Donald, you're looking at Jalen Ramsey, and those guys, and you're like, okay, well, what you about to say?
No, Michael Brock, because I was just naming defensive.
Oh, yeah. So they have a team. They're definitely the best. They're the most talented team in that division, slightly over San Francisco. With San Francisco, like you said, the injuries killed them last year on defense, for sure. Like defense got hit hard by injuries last year. Once again, I'm higher on a quarterback than a lot of people are. I'm higher on Jimmy Garoppolo than a lot of people are. Like I just am. I know we talked about it the other day doing a fantasy draft. I think that Jimmy G really has to lose this job as quarterback. So you
don't see Jimmy G playing worse enough to allow Trey a chance to play.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I don't think he plays. I don't think he performs bad enough for them to pull him and say, "All right, Trey Lance, it's your time." especially not as early as other people see it. Like if it does happen, I think it's second half of the season. George Kittle, we just talked about him. He's in that top tier of tight ends. A lot is expected out of Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. The running back position is kind of tricky for them. So you still got Mostert. You brought in Trey Sermon. So you want to see what those guys are going to actually look at. But once again, most importantly, on defense, they're going to be healthy. And and San Francisco's defense last seen healthy, that was an amazing defense. That was a stifling defense. So San Francisco, I think, finishes right there behind the Rams. Seattle, I think, finished third in that division. The offense is going to still be there and hitting on all cylinders. I feel the defense, losing Shaquille Griffin at corner was huge. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like they were stopping that many offenses last year anyway. Right. So when you see Seattle, it's going to be a shootout. They just have enough talent to usually win those shootouts, and I think that's going to be the same thing this year. Arizona, I agree with you. A real talented team is just like you said. When it comes to running back, when it comes to tight end, those are positions that, especially for a quarterback like Kyler Murray, is really important to that offense. And if you don't have that in a division that's this loaded, especially, it's going to be hard for you to pull out wins. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who is arguably the best wide receiver in football, but then you're looking at guys like A.J. Green. What you going to get out of A.J. Green? I mean, I've heard good things about him thus far, and hopefully he can put on a solid season, but the hopes aren't high for that. And then after that, it's Christian Kirk and, guys like that. So even with how talented that roster is, and then like you say, if all goes right for Arizona, like you said, that Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, that works, and you're able to have a decent running game with Edmonds and James Conner. If those things happen, then I can easily see Arizona being like, "Oh no, we're gonna take this division." But what's the chance? Like, it depends on how much you're gonna bet on Edmonds and James Conner.
Right.
Even if you're betting on the J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones thing working out, then it's like, okay, well, if you ain't got a run game, how much are you trusting Christian Kirk? How much are you trusting A.J. Green? How much are you trusting whoever y'all gonna stroll out there at tight end? If the run game not gonna work. So I see them finishing last, but still putting up a decent record this year. They're not gonna be a bad team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got that playing out. Let's go ahead and let's cut straight to it, man. What is your Super Bowl prediction? We're sitting here September 7th, 4:32. What is your Super Bowl prediction?
So I have out the AFC. The AFC, I don't think that it would surprise anyone, but I actually have the Kansas City Chiefs going to the Super Bowl again. The one thing that killed them in the postseason was their offensive line. Super Bowl, to be particular. They definitely improved, right? Definitely improved versus what they went into the Super Bowl with and the playoffs. So they definitely gotten better there. They have one of the better head coaches in football in Andy Reid, and they have the best quarterback in football in Pat Mahomes. I don't think that anyone questioned what their capabilities on the offense side of the ball. Defense is just going to be defense. Like, I can care less about it. They're just going to play good enough. But what they have in their back pocket is that they're normally playing with a lead, which helps that defense.
Yeah.
So I have the Chiefs representing the AFC. And from the NFC, when the season first kicked off, it's so hard to repeat. So Tampa having everything to go their way the way it kind of did last year, kind of don't see it that way. I do think they're still going to be one of the better teams in the NFC, but I think it's going to be the Rams. The Rams have been kind of flirting with making it back to the Super Bowl ever since they lost to New England 3-13. I think Matthew Stafford is going to make the difference for them, and I got the Rams representing the NFC.
So I'll start where we agree at, which is the LA Rams. I think Matthew Stafford makes all the difference in the world. For a team, like you say, has been right there ever since being there last. Where we disagree, shockingly, is the AFC. I think most people just look at Kansas City and say for sure, yeah, they're gonna be back. And like you say, it's hard. It's hard not only to repeat once you win, but to get back there after being there. And I think Buffalo is going to put on a showing this year that's really going to be able to lift them back to a Super Bowl. So I have the Buffalo Bills against the LA Rams in this year's Super Bowl, which doesn't sound that appeasing when you read it, but when you look at the football being played, that would really shape up to be a good game.
Cool.
So let's turn to Week 1. Week 1 of the NFL schedule. We are going to start with opening night, rightfully so. The Dallas Cowboys head on down to Tampa Bay to take on the defending Super Bowl champions, the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, from what I see, are -8 in this game. I'm quite sure you rolling with that -8. How you see that one?
8 is a lot to deal with. That's a whole lot. I was thinking it would be more like 5 at the most. Like I saw 5.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. Definitely taking Tampa to win the game, but 8 just may be a little bit too much for me to take Tampa covering 8. The under over on that game is 51. I saw 51 and 51 and a half. Yeah. I feel way better saying that they will go over 51. So I will take the over on that game, but I'm taking Tampa to win.
Okay. I think Tampa wins. Once again, that 8 is a lot. I don't think they're going to get that. I think this will, like I said, I'm with you. I'm real comfortable with taking the over on that game. I think they're going to put up a lot of points between the two, and that 8. I think the Cowboys are able to cover and stay within that. So I'm definitely going with that, but I'm taking the Bucs to win as well.
Yeah.
We got the Green Bay Packers traveling to Jacksonville, Florida to take on the New Orleans Saints.
Crazy.
Packers -4. What you got?
I have this as one of the safest picks this Sunday. I'm a Saints fan, but I try to call this as fair as I possibly can, pulling my heart out of the situation. Yeah. We just start slow as hell on defense every single year. And normally it's not like we got guys in new spots and a new corner, a new safety. Our unit normally stays the same for at least 3 years in a row for a secondary play. This year, we already know what the situation is with corner. We are very, very thin at the cornerback position. We just talked about Aaron Rodgers gaining Randall Cobb. You got to account for Aaron Jones coming out the backfield. And we all know what Davante Adams is. Marshawn Lattimore is one of the better corners in football to where you don't even worry about the other team's number one receiver. I think that Davante Adams is one of those exceptions when Lattimore is going to have his hands full. Adams' route running ability, which that's what beat Marshawn Lattimore, is ridiculous. So I definitely think Adams is going to have a great game, right? And now you got guys like Ken Crawley is still listed as out. I think is he still listed as out?
I haven't even seen an update on him. I'm gonna have to look.
I'll make it easy. Whether he's playing or not, he's going to have his hands full in whatever direction he's going as well. So I'm definitely giving the edge to Aaron Rodgers, who's been a full-time starter forever, versus Jameis Winston, who's really just getting his feet wet with this whole starting quarterback role. He's without Michael Thomas. That's a big blow. We still have yet to really have a solidified receiver. And just speaking in the term of man-to-man defense, right? You know what you're going to get from Jaire Alexander from Green Bay. If he's a great corner, he doesn't give up much. and we really don't have a whole lot of other options to go with for us throwing the ball to our receiving core. So I definitely think that, and Green Bay put it on us last year. Matter of fact, the last couple years, the year after we won the Super Bowl, we opened up against them pretty early. They beat us. Last year, we opened up against them pretty early, and they beat the brakes off of us. Now, if this game was played week 12, week 13, I feel different. But week 1, Green Bay is one of those teams that start hot, and we just start slow. And plus, like I said, everything is going to look kind of new. Having Jameis Winston, no Michael Thomas, 4 points, I got to go with Aaron Rodgers.
So, first, I just want to read off this breaking news that just hit my screen, which is that the Saints released Latavius Murray after he refused to take a pay cut. So there's that. When we started, once the offseason started, we went through free agency, we went through the draft. We still looked at the New Orleans Saints and said that secondary is slim. Right. and we looked at linebacker and we said that's pretty slim too.
Right.
Training camp came along and we started seeing and hearing things, and I'm more confident now about the defense in its entirety than I was back then when we were talking about it. Linebacker especially.
Me too.
Quarterback is still where I'm most weary about. We signed Desmond Trufant yesterday. He won't have no effect for us this weekend, but going forward, that is a real good pickup, and it's one that we needed much earlier than now, but whatever. The Packers being without their starting left tackle is going to make a difference in this game, especially if I know I am counting on Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan to both have good seasons for us.
Everybody that's a Saints fan is counting on that.
Well, it actually looks real now. Like last year, even going into the season, I wasn't sitting here looking at Marcus Davenport or Trey Hendrickson and saying they should have a good season this year. Mm-hmm. Trey Hendrickson did what he did. Marcus Davenport gave us another year of, hey, when are we going to see it from you? From everything I've seen and heard so far, Marcus Davenport should have the season we've been waiting for. Cam Jordan is somebody that's automatic. Like you automatically expect him to go out there and get what it is, double-digit sacks, pressures, things of that nature. I actually think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I see the over/under at 50. I could see the under. I can see the under on that. I think this is going to be. I don't think this is going to be a back and forth battle here. I think there's going to be a lot of. I think it's going to be a heavy running game for the Saints, especially Green Bay. I could also see it. It just depends on how that defense comes out with the pressure. I'm not going to pick a winner. I am going to pick the Saints to cover. I think a field goal late could definitely be the deciding factor either way. So I definitely take the Saints to cover that, though.
Okay, so we see that one different. I take Green Bay to win, and I take Green Bay to cover on that.
Yeah. So what's the game that you're picking this week?
Give me a second.
That's the same game.
I doubt it. We don't agree on much, Sid. Give me a second. Going through my notes. Well, boom. San Francisco versus Detroit. San Francisco is traveling to Detroit. And right now the line is at 7.5. And the under over is at 45. I am taking San Francisco to cover, to win the game, of course, and cover.
7.5, yeah. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Once again, Detroit is going to be a team they're going to be okay on defense. Offensively, I think with DeAndre Swift is real promising, but his injury concerns are already there. Like it's already when will he be healthy? How healthy will he be? And And once again, when we just talked about them and their lack of receivers, and we're saying who is it that Jared Goff supposed to be throwing the football to outside of T.J. Hockenson? And go ahead.
I was gonna say I just take it a little deeper. I don't know why I keep leaning to the side. It's this new $40 microphone that I got for $2 that I'm not used to dealing with. But I take it a step deeper, right? When I looked into this game, I really think the Lions will be one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in football. I can't stress that enough. Secondly, right, the Rams is a very great defensive team. So even if it's a little scoring the edge, go to the Rams. What quarterback do you trust more, Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff?
No. You saying the Rams, the 49ers.
I mean the 49ers. I'm sorry. And San Francisco defense is not going to allow a lot of points. And then you say, what quarterback do you trust more, Jimmy G or Jared Goff? I'm going with Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan. And then the nail in the coffin was San Francisco is very familiar with Jared Goff. You know, like they're very, very familiar with him. So it's not like they're going to see any they may see new looks, of course, playing against the Lions that they're not used to, but who do they supposed to fear over there? So even if it's a low-scoring game, I still find it very difficult for San Francisco not to edge them out by 10 in a very low-scoring game.
And that's the thing, too. Like, I don't think that this is going to be one of those situations where the 49ers are just piling on the Lions. I agree with you there that this could very well be, like, the over-under is at 45. Like this could very well be a low-scoring game, but I could definitely I agree with you. The 49ers should still be able to squeak it out by at least 10 points.
Yeah.
And then my game for this week is the Cleveland Browns against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are minus 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not only taking Cleveland to cover, I'm taking Cleveland.
You was going to say that.
I'm taking Cleveland to win the game. This week one.
I knew you was going to say that, bro. Dang, Sid. Sid, you don't waste no time. Out of all the games on the schedule, we're going to put our money on the Browns knocking off Kansas City. Jesus Christ.
Last week we talked about it, and I told you, I said, look, Reg, for one, I was on the Cleveland Browns bandwagon the year before I needed to be. It was the year before last. Last year they got there. Okay, we're here now.
Yeah.
Look at that roster. You look at it from top to bottom, man, this is one of the best rosters in the NFL.
They did. They can run that thing. They got weapons.
Like I said, and we talked about it last year when we talked about the division, where whatever side you land on of how you feel about Cleveland is only about how you feel about Baker Mayfield. 100%. That's where it's at.
Totally agree.
I have more faith in Baker Mayfield than most people do.
Definitely than me.
I have faith that Odell Beckham is going to have a better season and stay healthy than what he has while being in Cleveland.
Okay.
That run game is there. We know what it's going to be with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I think you're going to see a better year out of Austin Hooper. Like this team is telling you that they should make a playoff run.
Yeah.
And I like Kansas City. I'm big on Kansas City. I still have them finishing number one in their conference this year. But there are going to be some games where they're going to go up against teams that they won't be able to stop as many times as that team will be able to stop them. And I think Cleveland is one of those situations. I think Cleveland's defense will be able to hold up against Mahomes one or two times more than Kansas City's defense will be able to stop Cleveland's.
Gotcha. Okay. That's not just absurd because Cleveland had them dead beat in the playoffs. Was that the game that Pat Mahomes missed? I think did he miss?
He went out. He went out towards the end of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had Kansas City dead to write that game. However, right, Andy Reid and like Bill Belichick on defense, right? If you give him something one year that caused problems and issues and they couldn't do what they wanted to do, normally those mastermind type of guys, they nail it the following year. And I can't see a situation where the Chiefs struggle in those same areas that they did last year against Cleveland or against if they meet up with Tampa or anything like that. Now, I'm not saying Cleveland is a pushover, right? Because I think Myles Garrett will win Defensive Player of the Year if he's healthy this year.
Yeah.
That's how much I respect him. He's my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. To me, he had it before he got COVID last year. However, Pat Mahomes is just different. They're really different, and they start fast. And once again, like you said, it comes down to how much do you like Baker Mayfield. I like him, but I don't love him, and I definitely don't love him in a situation where you're asking him to somewhat match Pat Mahomes point for point. We know Cleveland defense is better than the Chiefs, but Baker Mayfield, this is a game where he's going to have to win the game. He's going to have to step up and make the big throw, make the big run, do something to cause Cleveland to win the game. Because if you think your defense is going to carry you for 4 quarters against Kansas City, you're crazy. Not if they're healthy. Tampa Bay was able to get away with that because they couldn't protect Pat Mahomes. But being healthy, you can't do that. You can't put a line. You just can't do that.
This is going to be a game where time of possession is going to be real key, and I think Cleveland they're going to dominate time of possession. We know what Kansas City is. When Kansas City strikes, they're going to strike fast. Mm-hmm. Cleveland's going to run and going to be able to run on Kansas City. They're going to. So once again, I feel like it's really going to come down to 2 defensive possessions that Cleveland's going to get some hard stops where Kansas City won't be able to. And I'm not saying Cleveland gonna blow them out or anything like that. Like, this very well may be it's gonna be a 1-possession game. But I think Cleveland's gonna be able to edge it out. And I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be a really good game. I hate that it's gonna come on at the same time as our game, but I'm having on the second.
I agree with you.
But yeah, I mean that's it for this week. You said you had something to announce.
I do. I wanted to give a shout out, man, to Precious Vanity Customs for putting together some great tumblers for, man. I checked out her work. I'm not sure how good you guys can see her image, but the package, everything was 100% together, and she definitely gifted us and did us right with this one. So, my boy, this is yours. You got one on the way. I don't know if you can see how clean that thing came.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, she killed that thing, man. Where every 25-point lead is safe, baby. So you definitely got one in the mail, man. But I just wanted to give her a shout out for that because she definitely did us right with those things. If you want to reach her, she can be found on Instagram and Facebook. Great work.
And I'll find those links and I'll put them in the description for anybody who wants to look her up and reach out, man, because that's a fire cup right there, man. I can't wait to get mine.
I was all at work with it today, bro. All at work with it today. So.
That's gonna be sitting all in the background from here on out, man.
Yes, sir.
But man, we finally here. Week 1 of the NFL season. It's a lot to look for.
All I think I got to go do is get my black and gold face paint, and I'll be set for the season, bro. That's it.
I done set up my new flag outside, man. I'm ready.
You can feel it in the air, bro. You can feel it in the air.
100%. So, man, can't wait to get to this weekend of football. We'll be back next week to go over everything that happened and look forward to week 2, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, good show, Sid.
100%, man.
You boys not in my league. If you listen close, I'm coaching. Take heed to the boy, hella dope without pushing a Blanco. Still stabbing bitches like 94 in the Bronco. If it's about the money, I'm leaving them hoes pronto. If I don't do nothing, I'm about line so. Every time I do it to